much for joining us on Parliament Television. Today is the first day in the month of August 2025. And to be on live commentary this morning, my name is President. Thank you so much for your time.
Good morning. My name is Joe Muyunda Katana. We're joined by our sign language interpreters, Jason Manda and Chola Kauma.
Let's quickly look at a business that was considered on the floor of the House yesterday, which was the 31st day in the month of July 2025. And the business did begin by Madam Speaker making announcements. And the first announcement that she made was to recognize in the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from the following schools: El Fadani Islamic School in Lusaka District, Mazabuka Girls School in Mazabuka District, and Kizito Community School in Lusaka District. And Madam Speaker, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, did warmly welcome the guests to the Assembly.
Yes, indeed. Thereafter, the acting leader of business in the House did move a motion that Standing Orders 27.2 over the National Assembly of Zambia, Standing Orders 2024 be suspended to enable the House to sit and do business on the order paper is completed on Friday, 1st August 2025, and thereafter adjourned. The motion was adopted.
And the Standing Order 142, urgent matters without notice. Three matters were considered, and the first one came from Mr. Nakoka, and this one was on the video that was circulating on social media, alleging that government officials were engaging in corrupt activities with Chinese investors, and this matter was inadmissible.
Mr. Yotam Teachalo wrote a matter on the need to regulate the sale of grain hydroxides called aluminium phosphide, as it was being used to commit suicide, and the cases were on the increase in Eastern Province, and this matter was not admitted.
Another matter which was inadmissible came from Mr. Mutalo, a member of Parliament, and this one was on the status of the funeral and burial of the former President, Mr. Edgar Chakwadungo.
The Minister of Lands and Natural Resources made a statement on the alleged eviction of about 10,000 people from a portion of traditional land in Mulove's Parliamentary constituency, following a question for oral answer number 324 raised by Mr. Mabenga, Member of Parliament for Mulovezi, on 18th July 2025. The Minister briefed the House on the background relating to the portion of the land in question and stated that the way forward for the investor, settlers and the developed infrastructure on the land would be determined after a fact-finding mission was conducted.
There were two reports that were considered on the floor of the House yesterday, and the first one came from the Committee on Education, Science and Technology, and it was the chairperson of this committee, and this is Ms. Harry Kambodi, who presented this report. And this report was urging the House to adopt the report of the Committee on Education, Science and Technology on the ratification of the Global Convention on the recognition of qualifications concerning higher education for the fourth session of the 14th National Assembly. The document was laid on the table of the House on 30th July 2025, and during the consideration of this report, quorum collapsed, and it was noted, and it was taken note at 17 hours, and the second Deputy Speaker ordered the bells to be rung. The House counted and quorum having been presented business resumed, and when the question was put, the report was adopted.
Dr. Christopher Kaldira is the Member of Parliament. He did move a motion, so in moving this motion, he was urging the House to adopt the report of the Committee on Health and Community Development and Social Services with the follow-up performance audit report on the implementation of the Social Cash Transfer Program in Zambia 2018 to 2023 for the fourth session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 30th July 2025, and the report was also adopted.
Anytime from now, you should be able to see the procession of the presiding officer that will signify the commencement of today's business. Continue sharing with you what was considered on the floor of the House, and there was a consideration of the Superior Court's number of judges bill, National Assembly Bill number 15 of 2025, which read the third time and passed.
Yes, indeed, that was the House did adjourn at 7:53. Right now, we take a look at business to be considered today, 1st of August 2025. The approval the order paper, we do have two urgent presses understanding order 82, 5 group presses understanding order 83, and 2 committee reports to be considered.
Before I introduce you to the questions that are expected to be considered on the floor of the House, and these are questions for oral answer, like my colleague mentioned, we do have 2 reports, and the first one will come from Ms. Sefulo, who is Mwandi Member of Parliament, and she is the chairperson of the Committee on National Economy, Trade and Labour Matters. This report is urging the House to adopt the report of the Committee on National Economy, Trade and Labour Matters on the ratification of the International Customs Convention on temporary admission for the 4th session of the 15th National Assembly, and this one is seconded by the Ron Member of Parliament, Mr. Joe Chibuye.
Mr. Michel Nyambose is expected to move a motion urging the House to adopt the report of the local government accounts on the report of the Auditor General of the Constituency Development Fund for the financial year ended 31st of December 2023 for the 1st session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 31st of July 2023.
We have 2 questions for oral answer, understanding order 82, and these are urgent nature questions. And the first one is question 397, who come from Shwangandi Member of Parliament, Mr. Stephen Kampyongo, directing his question to our Honour the Vice President, and would like to find out why the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, has contracted Action Global Trading Limited, a foreign-based company, to undertake the biometric identification enrollment program for the registration of voters ahead of the 2026 general elections, and what the specific objective of the project is, how the process system differs from the existing digital voter registration system previously used by ECZ, whether the ECZ engaged or in consultations with relevant stakeholders prior to contracting the new service provider, and what the estimated time frame for the project is.
Yes, indeed, we also have Mr. Alex Katakwe to ask the Minister of Transport and Logistics. Right now, we take you to the chamber. You can see on our screens Speaker for session making its way to the chamber.
Prayer. Almighty God, who in your infinite wisdom and providential goodness has appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people. We beseech you to consider with your abundant favor us, your servants, whom you've been pleased to call to the performance of such important responsibilities in this land. Let your blessing descend upon us here in Parliament and assembled, and grant that we may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you've committed to our church. Amen.
There was a ringing, which means that there is no quorum on the floor of the House. It is a requirement that 1/3 of the total number of members of Parliament be present for any business to be considered on the floor of the House. Business can only begin once the House attains that threshold. Let's quickly look at what else is expected to be considered on the floor of the House. So we did share with you that there are some group questions for oral answer, understanding order 83, and these ones are directed to the Minister of Agriculture. And the first one comes from Mr. Mutu, Calafo Central Member of Parliament. The member wants to find out how many farmers were beneficiaries of the Farmer Input Support Program, in Calafo District as of September 2024. Joe, question 400 comes from Kabata Member of Parliament.
Yes, Mr. Andrew Daimwa wants to find out from the Minister of Agriculture how many farmers benefited from the Farmer Input Support Program during the 2024-2025 farming season, whether the number of beneficiaries will be increased in the 2025 to 2026 farming season, if so, what level, and if the number will not be increased, why?
Babala Member of Parliament, Mr. Joseph Monsanje, is asking the Minister of Agriculture how many farmers applied for the Sustainable Agriculture Financing Facility SAF loans in Babala Parliamentary constituency as of January 2025.
And Mr. Andrew Daimwa to ask the Minister of Agriculture what measures the government is taking to ensure that citizens countrywide fully utilize the Sustainable Agriculture Financing Facility loan.
Namara Member of Parliament, Mr. Mapani, is asking the Minister of Agriculture whether the government has any plans to decentralize the collection of farming inputs in Namara from the district headquarters to the wards. And this is question 403.
We have two committee reports. Mr. Bezos, the full Member of Parliament is expected to move a motion. In this motion, should be urging the House to adopt the report of the Committee on National Economy, Trade and Trade and Affairs on the ratification over the International Customs Convention on temporary admission for the fourth session over the 30th International Assembly laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 31st July 2025.
We will share with you that we do have two questions for our answer. Understanding order 82, these are urgent in nature, and did say that the first question will come from Mr. Kampiongo, and I did give you the details of that question, and the other one is question 398, which come from Solasi East Member of Parliament, Mr. Katakwe, is directing his question to the Minister of Transport and Logistics. The member wants to find out whether the government is aware of the road traffic accidents that have been occurring on the Chimola Solwezi Road in Mushindamu area, with the most recent one involving the Kili bus and an abnormal load vehicle on 24th of July 2025 the two questions for our answer under Standing Order 82, and these questions are urgent in nature.
Yes, indeed, but so our viewers can also follow the proceedings on our DSTV channel 2, Webstar channel 5, Board TV channel 28, as well as Radio Guardian and our social media pages like Facebook, YouTube.
All the honorable members, I have one announcement to make. Honorable members, I wish to recognize the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Chilenja Adventist School in Lusaka district. On behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, I warmly welcome our visitors in our midst. Thank you. You may be seated. Questions for oral answer under Standing Order number 82. The Honorable Member for Shiwangandu.
Much appreciated, Madam Speaker. Question 397.
The Acting Leader of Government Business.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in response to the question asked by Mr. Stephen Kampyongo, Member of Parliament for Shiwangandu constituency, who has asked the following questions. A. Why the Electoral Commission of Zambia has contracted Axon Global Trading Limited, a foreign-based company, to undertake the biometric identification enrollment program for the registration of voters ahead of the 2026 general elections. Then B, he asks what the specific objective of the project is. C, how the proposed system differs from the existing digital voter registration system previously used by the ECZ. D, whether the ECZ engaged in consultations with relevant stakeholders prior to contracting the new service provider, and finally, what the estimated time frame of the project is. Madam Speaker, government's response is as follows. A, it is important to note that from the very onset that the Electoral Commission of Zambia has not entered into a contract with Axon Global Trading Limited for the supply and delivery of the automated biometric identification system, also called ABIS. The ECZ had issued a notice of the best evaluated bidder on 10th July 2025. However, the ECZ could not proceed to execute the contract and has therefore not awarded the contract to the said company. This is in line with Section 69 of the Public Procurement Act number 8 of 2020. It should also be noted that a notification of the best evaluated bidder does not constitute, nor does it translate into an award of contract. Madam Speaker, under B, which is what the specific objectives of the project is, we want to say that the Electoral Commission of Zambia's main objective is to conduct a mass mobile registration of voters exercise in 2025 in preparation for the 2026 general elections. The exercise is targeting to capture an estimated population of 3.5 million Zambians that will be eligible to register as voters. The new registrations will be added to the current register that stands at 7.073 million voters. Under C, Madam Speaker, how the proposed system differs from the existing digital voter registration system previously used by the ECZ. The ABIS technology is part of the digital voter registration system that the ECZ has used in the past electoral cycles. In this system, biometric registration kits are used to capture the voters during the voter registration exercises, while the ABIS is used to facilitate deduplication of all voter registration application records. The deduplication process helps to ensure that the final register of voters does not contain duplicate entries. Records identified as potential duplicates are subjected to human adjudication before they are confirmed as such. The ABIS technology uses human biometric features such as fingerprints and portraits for identification. It is important to note that similar systems, that is technologies, are used by other electoral management bodies and even the immigration authorities worldwide. So basically it's not something out of the blue, out of this world. It is something that is being used by other electoral bodies. Madam Speaker, and under D, whether the ECZ engaged in consultations with relevant stakeholders prior to contracting the new service provider, our answer is that the Electoral Commission of Zambia wishes to reaffirm that as a public body, all its procurement processes are strictly guided by the provisions of the Public Procurement Act number 8 of 2020 and associated regulations. These laws provide a clear framework for how public procurement should be conducted, including transparency, competition, and stakeholder accountability. In line with these legal requirements, the mission publicly advertised the tender for the automated biometric identification system ABIS on the electronic government procurement EGP platform and in national newspapers. This open invitation to bid served as a formal notification to all interested and eligible suppliers and stakeholders, thereby constituting stakeholder awareness and inclusion as envisioned under the law. It is important to note that the Public Procurement Act does not prescribe consultation with external stakeholders prior to selecting a service provider. Instead, it mandates an open, fair, and competitive bidding process, which the Commission duly followed. The outcome of the process is based on a rigorous technical and financial evaluation conducted in accordance with the law. Under E, Madam Speaker, which is what the estimated time frame of the project is. Our answer: the ABIS is expected to be implemented by October 2025 and will be utilized to prepare the 2026 register of voters. The 2026 register of voters is scheduled to be certified on 30th of April 2026. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Supplementary questions, the Honorable Member for Shiwangandu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I acknowledge and appreciate the responses coming from the acting leader of government business. Madam Speaker, in his response has informed us that ECZ has given a notification to the best evaluated bidder, meaning they are almost there. They have identified this bidder. The first question to the Honorable, to the acting leader of government business is, who is this bidder you have notified as the best evaluated bidder for this ABIS program? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The acting leader of government business.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much, Honorable Kampyongo, for that follow-up supplementary question. Madam Speaker, the company that was identified and in the preliminary evaluation was Axon Global Trading Limited of Mauritius. This was an international bid, and so even international bidders were able to bid. And that is the company that was identified, Axon Global Trading Limited. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Member for Runde.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, in your response, you have referred to compliance with procurement laws with regard to the question regarding stakeholder engagement. Honorable Minister, it is important for government to comply with procurement laws, and if you did, that's good enough. But a policy shift at the Electoral Commission of Zambia cannot go without stakeholder consultations. Prior to the Commission's commencement of the procurement, did the ECZ make stakeholder consultations for them to determine that the policy that they were going to introduce was acceptable to all players? Thank you, Madam.
The acting leader of government business.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you very much, Honorable, for that question. I must state here, Honorable Madam Speaker, that there was no policy shift at all. No policy shift. It was a normal procurement that is supposed to take place and take place before the general elections. We need this software, we need this system in order to ensure the integrity of the elections in 2026. So there was no policy shift, Madam Speaker, which would then have required a consultations with stakeholders. I thank you.
The Honorable Member for Wengwa.
Thank you very much, Honorable Madam Speaker. Acting leader of the government business, thank you very much for your response. My question, Honorable Madam Speaker, through you to the acting government business. My question is, Honorable Minister, the system which is about to be engaged by ECZ, I think it is something which has been happening before. So, can I learn from you, Honorable Minister, whether during the previous businesses of such kind, where the stakeholders engaged or they were not engaged during these processes, which is about to be doing this time around? Thank you.
The acting leader of government business.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you very much to the Honourable Member who was just asked a question. It is very important to note, and as I said, it's a system that is already being used by ECZ. And it's true, it's not a new system per se. And as far as I am aware, Madam Speaker, there was no such consultations when the system was being brought aboard. And so it was purely a procurement process that was undertaken, resulting into a system being used, installed and used by ECZ. I thank you.
The Honourable Member for Shiwangandu.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we are 60 years after independence as a sovereign state. In the responses coming from the acting government representative is that this Action Global is a company from Mauritius. Madam Speaker, elections determine the sovereignty of the state. And if Electoral Commission of Zambia has had this system before, they are the provider of the system. What I would like to know from the Honourable Minister is, what is the rationale behind Electoral Commission of Zambia going out of this country to contract a foreign company, this Action Global, to come and work on a system which is already in place? Why wouldn't the Electoral Commission of Zambia upgrade their system using the old provider, or indeed the capacity they have within themselves? Because the credibility of elections, Madam Speaker, depends on how the processes undertaken by the Electoral Commission of Zambia are localized. I would like to know the rationale behind getting another provider to come and work on the system which is already in place, provided by another provider. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The acting leader of government business.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much for that question, Honourable Kampyongo. In the first place, when Action Global put in a bid, it was on the basis of the fact that it was an international competitive bid. So it was an open bid put on the system, and anybody who had the capacity and ability to compete was welcome. And given the fact that this was an open international bid, Mauritius, a company from Mauritius, was able to get it. However, although it was an international company, it was in collaboration with a local company that is based in Zambia. I will not mention it, but we have a local company. If you wish, it's Nectar Zambia and Spark Systems, which is locally based. And so you try to marry both international expertise and local in order to have the best system possible. And this, Madam Speaker, is merely an upgrade of the old system. And in terms of competitiveness, so that we can get the best price possible, evaluate the possible price, it was open, and it happens that this company, Axon, is the one which nailed the deal. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for Lunte, you had the point of order.
Yes, Madam Speaker, thank you. My point of order was overtaken by the question asked by my older brother, Honourable Kampion. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honourable Member for Mukushi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, is the Minister in order to indicate to the country that we are trying to elevate the international standards when he knows that this company has never conducted any general election in this world, and it has no experience, this company? How then did they alive? Is it in order to insinuate that this company, if we are trying to raise the international standards when it has no single experience in this world, Madam Speaker? I think you are serious, truly.
Yeah. So what is the standing order that has been breached?
71, Madam Speaker.
The Honourable Minister was trying to explain the actual situation. His response, according to his response, the Honourable Minister, or the acting leader of government business, was in order to respond in such a manner. The Honourable Member for Vasenshi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I would like to appreciate the response from the Minister who is providing answers on this interesting question. My question to you, Honourable Minister, we have a lot of youngsters starting from University of Zambia, CBU, and other genius people who are capable to do the biometric identification for voters registration. At any given time, the government did the due diligence to see if we can able to handle it, just like the Honourable Kampiongo mentioned earlier a bit. And if you are told what are the plans are there, so that in future we can able to rely on our own resources, so that we can able to avoid expending a lot of money to those international companies. I submit.
The acting leader of government business.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you very much, Honourable Member of Parliament, for that question. Madam Speaker, I am of the view, or the government is of the view, that we definitely would like to utilize the capacity that is available in country. And it's important, if there are these whiz kids in computers and programming that are available in our country, we definitely will welcome their participation. What we are saying here in terms of procurement process is that it's an open procurement process. It includes the locals, it includes the whiz kids that you are talking about from the University of Zambia, it includes anybody that has that capacity to provide this software. And so they are most welcome, Honorable Member of Parliament, to participate in the next in future adverts concerning the upgrade of the ECZ system. So I would like to encourage the whiz kids out there from the University of Zambia and all the other universities here in Zambia to participate if they have the capacity. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Member for Lukasha.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity to ask a follow-up question. Honourable Minister, I was comforted by the explanation that this company, Axon Global Trading, was identified as the preferred bidder after a preliminary bidding process. My worry is that this company, Honourable Minister, describes itself as a trading company, which in business terms is selling and buying and not doing anything in IT. I want to find out, Honourable Minister, if the country should expect that there will be other bidding processes, because this was just a preliminary bidding, and in the bidding process that we contemplated, are there other companies that are going to participate in that process? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Acting Leader of Government Business.
The long and short of it, Madam Speaker, thank you very much, is that yes, there will be other companies that will be welcome to participate. I thank you.
The Honorable Member for Bangweulu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Minister, in your response, you said you contracting this system to upgrade the system, especially for identification of duplication of names or registered voters. I do know for the fact that if you look at the current register today, on the addendum, you will discover that there are names of voters whose names are duplicated. They are usually at the back of the register. So meaning that even in the past before this system, this is the system in place to dictate the names that were duplicated. But my question is this, Minister. I just want to find out where else this trading company has provided electoral system to any country at all. I just want to find out if it has ever provided this system to any country at all to manage the election processes. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Acting Leader of Government Business.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I'm afraid I do not have that information at hand. Yes, you want to question, but I would like to be as honest as I can. And we do not have that information. I do not have that information at the moment. But should he insist on the issue, he can pass by and we'll give him that information. I thank you.
The Honorable Member for Bwanamkuba.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Acting Leader of Business in the House. Madam Speaker, I just wanted to find out, Minister, I'm a bit confused because earlier I think there was an open bid, and the company which I was awarded the tender was Luxton Limited, which was, I think there was a notification, then cancelled. Then the Commission proceeded to do a selective bidding for, I think, 4 companies. And now Axon Global was subsequently awarded on the 10th of July. I think notification was done for $2.4 million. What I wanted to find out is, Minister, why has it taken long? Because there was a prior one which was cancelled, then this one now again, and it's under notification. And also, if you look at the variation and the reasons for cancellation are not valid, what is happening? I think you must speak.
The Acting Leader of Government Business.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Thank you very much, Honorable for that question. The open international bidding did not comprise 4 companies. It comprised a total of 12 companies. And of those 12, Axon Global Trading was the best evaluated bidder. And although it was the best evaluated bidder, the contract, we did not award the contract. That's what I said. Contract was not awarded at all. And so the system will restart. And we still have a little time to do it. The system will restart. And at an appropriate time, the company that will competitively win the tender will be awarded the contract. I thank you.
The Honorable Member for Undazi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The people of Lundazi are grateful to be given this chance to ask a follow-up question to the acting leader of business in the House. Our Defense Minister, an election, or maybe the process which culminates into electing leaders who represent the country and different constituencies, is supposed to be as transparent as possible. UPND in opposition then had to even follow, going out to Dubai, where they were printing ballot papers and escorting until the time when votes were cast. In your response, Honorable Minister, the acting leader of business, you indicated that you desire not to share the details of the Zambian company which has been contracted together with a foreign company. Now, the question that I have for you is that, rigging starts by hiding information from the public, because people cannot make follow-ups on what is obtaining. The question that I have for you, Honorable Minister, is the constitutional demand Article 8 and 9 of the Republic of Zambia requires that you reveal and inform the people who are following out there on which company in Zambia is part of the deal that you have given to the Mauritian company. Would you, in a few minutes, explain which company in Zambia has been contracted? Because if we can't reveal it in this house, then where else are you going to reveal it? I submit.
The acting leader of government business.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Thanks very much, Honorable Member, for that question. In the first instance, transparency and accountability of the electoral system is not tempered with by this process, Madam Speaker. This process is part and parcel of the same transparency and accountability that you're talking about. It's a procurement process which begins with inviting on the international open market those who are able to give the service. And that is being transparent. And in that, Madam Speaker, when I was talking about the company that accompanied Axon from within, from the government, from Zambia, I mentioned it. I in the first instance didn't want to mention, but I mentioned it. And for your ears, Honorable Member, it is NECO Zambia and Spark Systems Limited. That is the accompanying company that was bidding together with this international company. So we are transparent. You talk about going to Dubai to witness the printing of ballot papers. that is a different issue altogether. That is a different issue. But be assured that this government will ensure that that transparency is still there. You are most welcome to come to Dubai and witness the printing of the ballot papers. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. I'll take the last member. I think we've spent about 40 minutes. The Honorable Member for Wacha.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for according me an opportunity to pose a follow-up question. The acting leader of government business in the House, substantive position, Minister of Defense. Minister, in responding to one of the earlier questions, you stated and indicated that the ECZ intends to install a new and upgraded new system for the 2026 general elections. For the elections to be credible, I'm using the way that you used, Minister, for the elections to be credible. Madam Speaker, my question is, Minister, are you telling this House and the nation that the 2021 general elections conducted by the same ECZ were not credible, which saw the UPND party win the 2021 general elections? Are you saying the current system at ECZ, are you saying the 2026 general elections, the system that is there at the moment, cannot be used in 2026? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The acting leader of government business.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Honorable Member for Wacha, thank you very much for that question. If Honorable Member, I'm sure you own a mobile phone. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you own a laptop or a computer. You do. And if you bought it this year, next 2 years or so, even 3 years, you need to upgrade the software. This is simply what we are doing. Simple and straightforward. As to whether the 2021 elections were credible or not, I did not say. I did not say. No, I didn't say. You are the one who is saying that. I did not mention anything to do with the credibility of the 2021 elections. All I'm saying is that we are going to upgrade the system so that we attain integrity of the system. Thank you.
Next question, the Honorable Member for Solwezi East.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Question 398.
The Honorable Minister of Transport and Logistics.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Mr. Alex Tatatakwe, Honorable Member of Parliament for Solwezi East, to ask the Minister of Transport and Logistics a two-part question. A, whether the government is aware of the many road traffic accidents that have been occurring on the Chingola-Solwezi Road in the Mushindamo area. The recent accident involving a Likili bus and an abnormal load vehicle that occurred on 24th July 2025. In part B, Madam Speaker, what urgent measures the government is taking to prevent further road accidents? In response to the question raised by the Honourable Member of Parliament for Solwezi East, Madam Speaker, I wish to inform this August House as follows. A, yes, the government is fully aware and saddened by the increasing number of road traffic accidents along the Chingola-Solwezi Road, particularly in the Mushinamo area, which have
become a high-risk stretch due to increased traffic volumes, road design limitations, and mixed-use transport, including heavy mining haulage and public transport. Government is also aware of the tragic road traffic accident involving a Likili motorways bus and an abnormal road vehicle that occurred on 24th July 2025 at Lunga Bridge along the Chingola-Solwezi Road, which resulted in the loss of 8 lives and 12 injuries. This tragedy is deeply regrettable, and I'm sure, Madam Speaker, I speak on behalf of members on both sides of the divide that our thoughts and prayers go to the families affected by this and other similar incidents. Investigations, Madam Speaker, into the Likili accident are still ongoing, and once concluded, a detailed report of the findings shall be compiled and made available in the shortest possible time. In Part B, Madam Speaker, the government remains committed to ensuring the safety of all road users across Zambia in order to prevent further loss of lives. In this regard, my ministry, collaborating with various government agencies, has initiated several urgent and medium-term measures to mitigate the increasing number of road accidents along the Chingola-Solwezi Road and other high-risk corridors. These include, but may not be limited to, the following, Madam Speaker. Number 1, increased enforcement and patrols. Government, through the Road Transport and Safety Agency, in collaboration with the Zambia Police, deployed more traffic officers to conduct patrols, speed checks, and random inspections along the Chingola-Solwezi routes, especially along high-risk areas such as Mshindamo. 2, leveraging technology. Government has commenced the process of amending the Road Traffic Public Service Vehicle Global Positioning System Regulation of 2016 in order to enhance road safety through the mandatory installation of functional global positioning systems (GPS) in public service vehicles. The amendment proposes to enhance enforcement, increasing the penalty units for PSV operators and drivers whose GPS devices are non-functional or have been tampered with. If incidents of GPS tampering by PSV drivers persist, the government will consider suspending the vehicle's license for at least 1 year. Further, government through RATSA aims to enhance enforcement through the procurement of more enforcement vehicles, appointment of honorary traffic inspectors, and the procurement of more artificial intelligence powered smart dash cams to improve road safety. Number 3, route risk mapping and signage. RATSA, in collaboration with the Road Development Agency (RDA), continues to undertake route assessment exercises to identify high-risk areas. The aim is to enhance road safety by implementing improved road furniture such as signage, installation of rumble strips, as well as reflective warning signs in vulnerable locations. Number 4, Madam Speaker, engagement with transport and bus operators. Government, through RATSA, has intensified its stakeholder engagements, including holding road safety and compliance meetings with PSV and goods vehicle operators, including transporters of abnormal loads. Further, government has implemented several measures to enhance compliance management policy, which is aimed at promoting a safety culture, reduce road traffic accidents, and ensure that public service vehicles and goods vehicle operators adhere to established safety standards. Lastly, Madam Speaker, in part 5, public awareness campaigns. RATSA has continued to undertake public awareness and road safety campaigns targeting public bus drivers, pedestrians, including commuters and other road users along the Chingola-Solwezi on safe overtaking, safe road use, defensive driving, fatigue management, and speed discipline. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. Supplementary questions. The Honourable Member for Solwezi East.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Minister, for your response, giving us hope. Although most of the measures that you have outlined, they seem to be in the long-term plan. But through you, Madam Speaker, I want to request Minister of Transport and Logistics, since you have talked about collaborating with Zambia Police, if you would consider, just as an appeal for immediate action, providing the speed gun or speed trap for the Mushindamo police officers, not those from Chingola or Solwezi, because the stretch that is of concern is within Mushindamo, which stretches over 90 kilometers. So my appeal is if you could consider working urgently with the police and provide that speed gun. And secondly, Madam Speaker, since I'm given an opportunity to ask 2 questions, the second appeal is if you could see to it that there is increase in terms of manpower, because currently we have no RATSA officers in Mushindamo, and we only have about 30 police officers to police over 100,000 people in the district, just 30 police officers. So if we could work together with the Ministry of Home Affairs and provide an increased number of police officers and also the speed trap, would you consider to respond to my appeal? Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
The Honourable Minister of Transport and Logistics.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to the Honourable Member for that follow-up question. Madam Speaker, the Honourable Member makes very, very plausible appeals. Yes, indeed, it is imperative that, as I did mention in my response to the question, we're really trying everything possible and deploying technology as well as more manpower in order for us to be able to actually help curb the increasing occurrence of road traffic accidents, Madam Speaker. But, Madam Speaker, allow me to also state that no adequate number of enforcement personnel can actually help us rid our roads of these accidents, most of which, Madam Speaker, are actually avoidable. I'm sure the Honourable Members may have had sight of a video, an amateur video that was actually taken prior to the occurrence of the accident in question involving Mikili. We could all see, Madam Speaker, the recklessness with which the driver was actually, carrying himself on a public road. And what we must be able to emphasize is self-policing is the #1 issue, Madam Speaker. When you have a PSV license and you are carrying passengers, I think that one ought to have that responsibility to realize that any mishap may lead to the loss of lives of innocent citizens that are paid to be ferried to a particular destination. I think that what we must also promote is a bureau, Madam Speaker, where we are able to check the behavior and the conduct of some of the people that we are actually having to empower with driver's licenses. Therefore, Madam Speaker, we have the opinion at the Ministry of Transport that we really need to get back to the basics, and the basics will have to deal with the training schools. I think that we need to regulate these training schools more, so that we can also inculcate this sense of good driver behavior. Because quite clearly, whenever some of these drivers see that there is no police presence, there is no RASA presence, then they begin to misbehave. There are very, very dangerous videos which are being captured, and we thank those that are actually taking these amateur videos and sharing them so that citizens can see. And also, the passengers that are being moved in these vehicles must also develop a sense that they must have a say. When you see that somebody is driving recklessly, you ought to demand that they actually begin to behave themselves. And if possible, at the nearest stop, Madam Speaker, citizens must take the responsibility to actually say that this driver will not take us to our destination, and not be in a hurry, because when you are better off being late than being late. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
The Honourable Member for Ron.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honourable Minister, thank you very much for the statement. Madam Speaker, an accident is an accident, but some accidents are avoidable, while some accidents are indeed caused. Honourable Minister, the subject operator here, Likili, not long ago, was again at crossroads with your ministry. An accident in Mukushi where he tramped into the Tazara train, and we are told Likili has actually been sued by Tazara for that accident. An accident near Kawe which claimed a lot of lives, the same company. And your ministry decisively took an action by suspending the operating license. Yet another accident in Mushindano, we lost lives. Honourable Minister, my question is, when you suspended their operating license, there could have been something that you wanted to investigate and find out from them in terms of what you have mentioned in your statements, such as defensive driving and all those things. What justification did Lekili give your institution for you to lift their suspension? Were there any set targets that you had given them which they justified for you to lift their license suspension? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honourable Minister of Transport and Logistics.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to the Honourable Member for that indeed very concise follow-up question. The Honourable Member is spot on when he refers to the unfortunate incidents that again involved the killing back in 2023. And yes, RAPSA did take action to suspend the license in order for us to have a much detailed understanding of how the company has been operating, particularly in terms of their compliance to our fleet safety management policy. We did work with Likili to ensure that amongst the 5 pillars that are contained in fleet safety management, which includes driver management, vehicle management, journey management, health and safety management, and indeed organizational management, that these are set guidelines on how such a company offering public service vehicle services ought to conduct themselves. I must confess that Likili did comply, and we were duty bound to actually lift the suspension, and that since that time we have had no complaints coming out of Likili. As a matter of fact, let me say that because of their compliance levels, they are one of our best companies that are actually following these guidelines in terms of fleet safety management. Unfortunately, like I said, we all saw that video. Now, when you're a promoter of a company, you invest in getting, new buses, and then perhaps we're not doing much due diligence in terms of the people that we're employing. And that is where we must work perhaps with the private sector to come on board and see how we must be able to manage our driving schools. I think that is very imperative. When the promoter of a business, hires the driver, then the driver, because he's alone on the road, and we also how that driver behaved. And no sooner had that video been taken, the accident occurred, and that is indeed much regretted. And I think that we urge the operators to take keen interest, in terms of carrying out a due diligence in terms of the people that they're employing as their drivers, because this is causing economic losses, not just to the operators, but to the nation as a whole, because we are losing productive lives that this country so desperately needs in order to move our country forward. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
The Honourable Member for Kankoyo.
I thank you very much, Madam Speaker. It's always sad to see life being lost in such a manner, because the families which lose such people, they remain in abject poverty. Madam Speaker, the Minister stated that one of the measures the government is considering is signage on the road. When you go to countries like Tanzania or Botswana, there are proper signs which are able to show the driver the kilometers, the speed limit, and everything. Honorable Minister, in Zambia we rarely see signage. You're traveling from Lusaka to the Copper Belt. You don't even know how many kilometers you've covered, what you are remaining with, the speed you need to use. Hence, drivers end up panicking in trying to cover up time the cause accidents. What has been the challenge to put proper signage which would guide the drivers that are driving? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honourable Minister of Transport and Logistics.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to the Honourable Member for Kankoyo for that question. The Honourable Member is indeed very right, and this is why, Madam Speaker, in my response I did refer to the efforts that we're trying to do as Ministry of Transport, working in collaboration with other ministries such as the Ministry of Infrastructure, through them to the Road Development Agency, whose responsibility it is for road furniture installations. And so the Honourable Member asked the question outside the ambit of my responsibilities. Madam Speaker, thank you.
The Honourable Member from Chinga.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, and thank you so much, Honourable Minister for Transport. Madam Speaker, I'm one of the bus drivers, so I've got a very good question, I think, for the Honourable Minister. Honourable Minister, I've heard a lot, especially from this House, that we have been debating on considering the accidents and the transport sector and the like. One of the things that I've not heard is the issue to do with the drivers themselves, how they operate. Like, what usually happens is that the driver will travel today from Nakonde to Lusaka, and tomorrow 04 he has to go on the bus to Livingstone. The other day the same driver will go on the bus to Chipata, probably without a co-driver. Are you considering, under your ministry, enforcing a law that each passenger vehicle bus should be managed by 2 drivers, and those drivers should be known by the company, not where just a driver picks a friend, no. So that your officers on the road are able to stop a bus, check on the IDs for the drivers, to make sure that those drivers are employed by the company, so that they don't have that much fatigue. Because most of these accidents are not caused by usually what we do, like what we debate, no. There is a lot of fatigue. People travel the whole week without resting, 04 to 22 hours. 04 to 22 hours. That's my question, Madam Speaker. I thank you.
The Honourable Minister of Transport and Logistics.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to my honorable colleague who has, obviously offered invaluable insights into the conditions under which some of our drivers are operating. The honorable member will agree with me, Madam Speaker, that I did make reference that we do have what we are calling a fleet safety management policy. It's got 3 pillars. I did talk about driver management. That's precisely what the honorable member refers to. Okay? Now, in that driver management, surely we cannot as a ministry come into your company and ask you that please ensure that the driver who has just arrived perhaps from Johannesburg, perhaps from Nakonde, or indeed any other long distance, we cannot tell an operator the obvious thing that somebody is tired, they must rest. We have it and we've shared with the operators that this is the best practice in terms of managing the drivers. Now, we ought to receive reciprocal cooperation from the operators. It is in their interest, because you're going to lose an expensive piece of machinery in that particular bus in which you have invested colossal sums of money. No, more than just your loss, you're actually also affecting the nation, because you are killing innocent citizens. They are paying a service for a service that you take them to their destination safely, not that you're going to kill them. So can we change our mindsets? Can we begin to act responsibly? We can only police so far. Beyond that, let the citizens take responsibility. And this is why I've made reference that something ought to be done about our training schools. It's not just the ability to move a vehicle from one gear to another and learn how to keep your lane. No, it goes beyond that. Let us bring in behavioral change. And perhaps we need a minimum qualification for these drivers. You cannot just go pick anybody. Yesterday they were a conductor to get their driver. What have you done to change their mindsets? I mean, I used to be an operator myself. And this is what I used to experience. And then it was changed. So, honorable member, you do well with such kind of a background that you've been a driver yourself, that, come forward and, let's help one another. We'll work with the associations representing the drivers, that they can also, take that responsibility of inculcating this sense of good road use and safe use of, our roads. Madam Speaker, thank you. It's a very, very emotive subject, by the way.
I'll get the last two, the Honorable Member for Chipili and the Honorable Member for Shangombo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, I want to find out what is it that you are going to do with this kind of driver, to be specific at the subject that we are discussing. If he had survived, are you going to cancel the license or suspend the license? Why I'm asking this question is because the abnormal load which is on the road, you always have a vehicle which we call sweeper with the red flags, and they have written abnormal road, warning the incoming trucks. Why should you suspend instead of cancelling the driving license? So that, because he had just ignored, he was supposed to reduce his speed because he was warned. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Transport and Logistics.
The honorable member asked a very pertinent question, Madam Speaker, and I must concur that as a Ministry of Transport and Logistics, we are doing everything possible, even to ensure that those drivers that, recklessly conduct themselves on public roads actually dealt with. And among the other issues, many issues that we do, Madam Speaker, is that we have actually been prosecuting these offenders. All right? The drivers found to have caused accidents through negligence or violation of road traffic rules are being subjected to prosecution as a way not just of punishing, but as a deterrent. So that other drivers can learn from the actions that we take on those that were found erring. There are also, like what I referred to, administrative sanctions such as the revocation of, licenses for the operators. We are going so far as driver retesting and disqualifications. Okay? Offending drivers are being subjected to mandatory retesting, which covers defensive driving courses before their driver's licenses are actually reinstated. And unfortunately, if these are not sufficient, what then shall we be able to do? All right? So there are existing laws and measures, policies, which in any normal situation should really help us improve Zambia's road safety profile. But alas, we have to deal with the mind shift change of these people. Like you clearly said, stated, that was an abnormal lot that was being escorted. Now, if a fellow driving a bus cannot understand what that means, you and I will know that something that is coming is wide, and you don't just really stick to your lane, it's going to run into you. So we literally pull aside to allow for such an abnormal road to pass. Now, when a fellow is excited and they still want to maintain the speed, probably at 120 kilometers, the heavy road is coming. The escort vehicle has already bypassed because it's way in front to give you sufficient warning. This sort of accident will be inevitable if the driver, who is the pilot of that particular bus, is not able to take action. It will be inevitable that lives will be lost. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
The Honorable Member for Shangombo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in Lusaka, we have about 2 to 3 constituencies, and also on the Copper Belt, which we all know where there is drug abuse and alcohol abuse. Is the Minister not thinking of incorporating DEC so that they can assist the RATSA to be checking drivers for drugs and also alcohol as they live in the city, and also even to make them permanent at some toll gates, so that all the public service vehicles, whenever they are passing, they are made to stop and the drivers will be checked. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Transport and Logistics.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Honourable Member, for that question. For the information, Honourable Member, RATSA does employ the use of breathalyzer, and that we're able to detect if somebody has taken, alcoholic substances, and that there is a bare minimum that is, perhaps tolerable. And the Honourable Member makes suggestions about substance abuse. Well, this, like I said, Madam Speaker, we really need mindset change. I don't think that, like I said, we will not always be there to check all these situations. But I think that the onus is on ourselves as citizens who are in different categories of employment, to each of us take that responsibility to be mindful of the consequences that may come out of such reckless behavior, such as attempting to drink and drive. We always are educating people on the dangers of drink driving. And so this is something that we shall not relent, but continue to educate our drivers to avoid, because drink driving will almost definitely lead accident. Madam Speaker, thank you.
Grouped questions for oral answer understanding order number 83. The Honorable Member for Kalabo Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question number 399. I
have permitted the Honorable Minister of Agriculture to respond to questions 399, 400, 401, 402, and 403 as grouped questions. The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Madam Speaker, I wish to thank you most sincerely for according me this opportunity to respond to concerns on the Farmer Input Support Program, FISP, and Sustainable Agricultural Financing Facility staff for the 2024-2025 farming season that were raised by members of Parliament. Madam Speaker, let me start with reading all the questions that were raised by the members of Parliament from various constituencies and later respond to all the questions in a grouped manner. Question 399, Mr. Mewutu, Kalabo Central. To ask the Minister of Agriculture, A, how many farmers were beneficiaries of the Farmer Input Support Program in Kalabo District as of September 2024? B, how long the beneficiaries above had been on FISP, and C, when the farmers at A will be removed from the program to pave way for new beneficiaries. D, whether FISP has succeeded in enhancing food production countrywide, and E, what other measures are being taken to enhance food production. Question 400, Mr. Taenga Kawata. To ask the Minister of Agriculture, how many farmers benefited from the Farmer Input Support Program FISP during the 2024-25 farming season? B, whether the number of beneficiaries at A will be increased in the 2025-26 season? C, if so, to what level? And D, if the number will not be increased, why? Question 401 from Mr. Chanda Panchivia. To ask the Minister of Agriculture, A, the Minister of Agriculture, what measures the government is taking to resolve the issue of delayed delivery of farming inputs under the Farmer Input Support Program in Kanchivia District? Question number 402, Mr. Mapani from Namwala. To ask the Minister of Agriculture whether the government has any plans to decentralize the collection of farming inputs in Namwala from district headquarters to the wards. B, if so, when the plans will be implemented, and C, if there are no such plans, why? Question number 403, Honorable Sanje from Mbawala. To ask the Minister of Agriculture how many farmers applied for the Sustainable Financing Facility staff in Mbawala Parliamentary constituency as of January 2025, and B, how many applicants were successful? C, what categories of loans were applied for, and D, what measures are being taken to enable more farmers to access staff loans? Question number 492, Honorable Tainga from Kawata. To ask the Minister of Agriculture what measures the government is taking to ensure that citizens countrywide fully utilize the Sustainable Agricultural Financing Facility loan. Madam Speaker, the government, through the Minister of Agriculture, these are my responses now, Madam Speaker. The government, through the Minister of Agriculture, has been implementing the Farmer Input Support Program since 2002, with the aim of providing subsidized inputs to small-scale farmers. This is in order to ensure food and income security at household level and ultimately national level. Madam Speaker, in the 2024-25 farming season, the program supported 1,024,434 farmers in the 116 districts countrywide, including Kalao, which had an allocation of 607 beneficiaries being supported under the program during the season under review. The Ministry of Agriculture implemented the e-voucher system in 74 districts, while the remaining 42 districts operated under the direct input supply system. Madam Speaker, I am pleased to report that our government, through the Ministry of Agriculture, has taken proactive steps migrating all the 116 districts to the e-voucher modality. The benefits envisioned under the e-voucher include increase in choice of inputs and crops, increase private sector participation, thereby creating more and better jobs, unlocking access to finance by market actors across the agricultural input supply chain, and facilitating increased private sector investment in input, output, storage, transportation, and logistics. Madam Speaker, the House may wish to note that the target for the 2025-2026 farming season will remain at 1,024,434 as the Ministry is making reforms on how to improve the effectiveness of FISIP and promote staff loans. The Ministry is actively reviewing the FISIP handbook as well as integrating the Zambia Integrated Agricultural Management Information Systems, ZAMIS, with the Food Reserve Agency database to ease implementation of FISIP. Madam Speaker, I wish to inform the House that the number of beneficiaries in a given season is guided by the policy directive. Therefore, for the 2024-2025 farming season, Cabinet Circular CM11 of 2024 guided that farmers who benefited from the program during the aforementioned farming season should be bonded to supply a minimum of 10 by 50 kg bags of vitamins grain to the Food Reserve Agency. This is one way of farmers contributing to the national food and nutrition security. However, farmers who fail to supply the required 10 bags of 50 kg of maize grain to FRA will be removed and replaced with new farmers, while those who comply will continue to benefit from the program. Madam Speaker, the House may wish to note that there were no delays in the delivery of farming inputs in the 2024-2025 marketing of farming season. As we speak, all outstanding arrears for agro-dealers have been paid. The measures which government has put in place to ensure timely delivery of inputs, Madam Speaker, include the following. 1. The 100% roll-out of e-voucher modality in the 2025-2026 farming season will ensure that inputs are positioned early in all the 116 districts. 2. Further, the Ministry commenced the registration of agro-dealers in March 2025 and the registration period was closed in June 2025. Agro-dealers are being encouraged to open more outlets in districts and camps that are under wards where they want to operate. I wish to appeal to agro-dealers, Madam Speaker, to be more transparent and honest in their dealings with national suppliers to ensure that they have a cordial relationship. Madam Speaker, the Input Support Program has succeeded in enhancing food production countrywide. The program recorded 100% delivery of inputs to the farmers during the 2024-2025 farming season. Thank you. You may wish to note, Madam Speaker, that the number of beneficiaries increased from 120,000 as of 2002 to the current 121,024,534 in 2024. I am pleased to report, Madam Speaker, that our government, through the Ministry of Agriculture, has taken proactive steps to ensure food production, and these include 1. Extension services to ensure enhanced extension services to the farmer. 2. Mechanization. Thank you, Honorable. Indeed. 2. Mechanization. The Ministry launched the mechanization strategy in 2024 and has since established, Madam Speaker, 40 mechanization centers at farmer training centers and 10 centers of excellency at farm institutes across the country. This is in a bid to promote agricultural production and efficiency. In the last farming season, more than 2,500 farmers accessed mechanization centers from the mechanization units, including the Honorable Member, Honorable Tayari, Minister of Transport and Logistics. Madam Speaker, irrigation development. The government aims to increase maize production and productivity through expanding winter maize production in irrigated areas during the dry season. Presently, Madam Speaker, may this House know that 200,000 hectares of land is being utilized under irrigation, with small-scale farmers accounting for 11.6% and commercial farmers accounting for 88.4%. In this regard, the Ministry of Agriculture has set a target, Madam Speaker. We have set a target to expand irrigation land with an additional 500,000 hectares by 2027 as per Presidential Irrigation Program. Number 4, access to financing. To drive agricultural transformation and increase productivity, the Ministry partnered with financial institutions to provide affordable financing options to farmers through the Sustainable Agriculture Financing Facility SAF. Through this initiative, Madam Speaker, farmers can access affordable financing for irrigation systems, mechanization implements, and machinery, seasonal crop inputs, livestock, aquaculture equipment, thereby increasing productivity and efficiency in agriculture. Madam Speaker, this includes all the members in this House, all employed people in Zambia. It does not segregate. This one is open to everybody. Madam Speaker, the House may further wish to note that in the 2024-2025 farming season, 8,858 farmers received support through the SAF loans. Of these, 8,778 farmers got 758,931,891 kwacha in funding, with 643,794,718 directly utilized for crop production. Additionally, Madam Speaker, as the chairperson of the Agriculture Committee will agree with me, 80 farmers accessed 23,505,282 kwacha for irrigation and mechanization. For instance, in Mbabala, 361 farmers applied for SAF loans and at least 27 applicants successfully obtained their loans at a value of 6,375,000 kwacha, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the Sustainable Agriculture Financing Facility SAF is a private-led program facilitated by the government. The banks and the Zambian Credit Guarantee Scheme, who is the fund manager, are redesigning SAF and have designed a monitoring and evaluation tool to track SAF loans, utilization and implementation progress, hence improving targeting to ensure that only credible and committed farmers, especially Idundu Mwezi, Madam Speaker, only credible and committed farmers access loans. The key metrics are the area cultivated by tractors, land under irrigation, and metric tons of maize harvested by SAF beneficiaries. Financial literacy programs are also being intensified in order to educate farmers on using loans effectively. This is being done in collaboration with the Ministry of Finance and the participating commercial banks. Madam Speaker, in conclusion, I would like to update the nation that the delivery of farming inputs under the Farmer Input Support Program FISIP has reached 100% e-voucher implementation. We merely talked about it, Madam Speaker, but here it is now. 100% e-voucher implementation in the Republic of Zambia. Madam Speaker, furthermore, the Sustainable Agriculture Financing Facility SAF loans are being redesigned to enhance benefits for farmers and ensure sustainability. These initiatives aim to improve agriculture productivity and support the nation's food security goals, including in the new Lumezi area. Madam Speaker, I thank you. As I really sit down, I wish to encourage the honorable members, Madam Speaker, to get involved when they get back home so that we can, Madam Speaker, especially Dundu Mweza again, Madam Speaker, get involved as MPs so that we can have this benefit all our citizens. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. Priority will be given to the honorable members, the owners of the question, Kalabo Central, Kawata, Mbabala, and Namwala. Then thereafter we'll pick the other honorable members. The honorable member for Kawata.
I'm grateful, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. Honorable Minister, the Sustainable Agriculture Financing Facility is one of the tools that the government can use to change the rural setup in terms of agriculture activities. Now, Honorable Minister, I think you are aware that in rural areas, I think the challenge which we have is the issue of the banking sectors. Today, if you go to the remotest places of our country, you will not find any banks. So my question to you is, what is it that you are doing with some of these financial institutions that have been offered this facility to offer to the farmers, especially banks that are only localized here on the line of rail and in urban areas? What is it that you're doing to take some of these commercial banks right in the remotest areas where the farmers in rural areas can easily access this facility? Thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
I thank you, Madam Speaker, and that is a very important question, Madam Speaker. How do you expect farmers to access SAF in areas where there are no banks? Let me use a practical example of, say, Chadiza. Madam Speaker, in areas where there are no banks, we use agents, and there is mobile banking facilities that are encouraged. I would like to encourage those areas, and the Honorable Tarengo is asking this question on behalf of the other members, because he is a member of Parliament for Kawata, where we have all the banks, really. But for those areas where there are no banks, Madam Speaker, this is an opportunity for banks to open in your area. In my working career in the agricultural sector, we have had banks opened because of agricultural programs. I can give Chongwe as an example. There were banks which were not available, but Chongwe was very productive. We opened those banks, Madam Speaker. We were part of opening those banks in Chongwe. So it can happen. So if you are in an area where there are no banks, this is an opportunity, because banks look for business. So if you can come to a Minister of Agriculture, together we put a process, we will open branches in such areas. Very nice question, Madam Speaker, which the member asked, and I'm grateful.
The Honorable Member for Namwala, you don't have a question?
Thank you so very much, Madam Speaker. Straight to the Minister. Minister, I just want to find out whether it's okay for government to talk to some agro dealers to spread into the rural setup so that farmers can be helped rather than traveling more than 200 kilometers to access the imports, like what's happening in Amala currently. So I want to find out whether it's okay for government to help the farmers through talking to the agro business to avoid this kind of travelings. I thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Yes, Madam Speaker, the answer is yes, we do talk to them. And if the honorable members have areas of concern in their constituencies, utilize this time, write my office, so that as we talk to the agro dealers, we mention these particular areas of concern. Madam Speaker, the question which the honorable member for Namwala has asked is very important in our current arrangement of fertilizer distribution, because we are not going to take fertilizer there. It's the private sector take fertilizer there. So tell us the areas so that as we sit with the agro dealers, we can be guiding them. I also take this opportunity to ask the honorable members, Madam Speaker, there is no offense in the members of parliament becoming agro dealers. Come, I will register you and open dealership in your areas. Even if the time is closed, Madam Speaker, our Minister of Agriculture, I will vary that position and register them. I thank you.
The honorable member for Karabo Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, this issue of agro dealers in areas where there are few or non-existent, like in Karabo, we have in the last season we had on paper we had 4, but practically those could not provide the necessary inputs which the farmers needed. Now, the farmers wanted to get these inputs from Mongo, because Mongo had sufficient supply of these inputs. Now, looking at the provision, the payment of these agro dealers is by the Ministry of Agriculture. Why was it that these farmers were not allowed to buy, to get the inputs from Mongo? Because the agro dealers in Karabo could not provide those inputs. So many of these farmers were disadvantaged in getting these inputs in time. So why is it that farmers cannot get these inputs from Mongo? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Madam Speaker, that is a very unique situation, because once a farmer has been identified as a genuine bona fide farmer, we give them a number, basically they are given a credit card, and with this you can get inputs anywhere, you're not restricted. So I'm very surprised to hear that farmers in Karao could not get in Mongo. I will find out why. It should not be like that. But Madam Speaker, yet again, shouldn't the honorable member be an agro dealer and support Karao? I mean, why would he be complaining? This is an opportunity. Why would, imagine if all the 156 members here had a bit of outlets, every constituency would be covered. We would have no such problems. So come, honorable member, I will register you next week. I will register you as an agro dealer. Yes, come the two of them, madam, I'm very happy. But honorable Tayengo, I'm suspicious. But Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The honorable member for Mbabala.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for this group question. Honorable Minister, thank you for that response. Specifically to the farmers in Mbabala, I would like to ask a related question on the criteria being used on the insurance refunds to these farmers who are receiving insurance. Thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Agriculture.
Madam Speaker, when a farmer has a problem with a crop as a consequence of weather, there is a weather index insurance which we have supported the farmers with. Any farmer whose crop fails from germination to about 30 centimeters, say knee high, will be squared off 100%. But as the crop grows, if it is due to negligence, etc., we still sit with that farmer. The insurance companies sit with them and determine how much they can give. So the issue is that the insurance companies are there, and if farmers have a problem, they go to them. If they have a complaint, then they come to the ministry. We can engage the insurance company. Madam Speaker, thank you.
As the time is 10:40 hours, I suspend business for 20 minutes for health break.
Include the question for oral answer, understanding order 83.
And the minister just concluded responding to the question. And so when business resumes, the minister will continue, or should I say the House will continue considering questions for oral answer, understanding order 83. And just go through some of the questions that are grouped. Question 399 came from Mr. Chengamitu, Kalaba Central Member of Parliament, directed question to the Minister of Agriculture. He wanted to find out how many farmers were beneficiaries of the Farmer Input Support Program in Kalaba District as of September 2024.
And also, question 400 did come from Mr. Andrew Tayengwa, Kabata Member of Parliament. He asked the Minister of Agriculture how many farmers benefited from the Farmer Input Support Program during the 2024-2025 farming season, whether the number of beneficiaries will be increased in the 2025 to 2026 farming season. If so, what the level is.
And earlier on, the House did consider questions for oral answer, understanding order 82, and these are urgent questions in nature. And there were two. First one came from Mr. Kampyongo, question 397, and the member wanted to find out from the Republican Vice President why the Electoral Commission of Zambia has contracted Action Global Training Limited, a foreign-based company, to undertake the biometric identification enrollment program for the registration of voters ahead of the 2026 general elections. And it was the acting leader of government business who responded to this question. And the other part that the member wanted to find out was what the specific objective of the project is.
Mr. Alex Katakwe, Sorry, Eastern Member of Parliament, did was the question to the Minister of Transport and Logistics. He wanted to find out whether the government is aware of the road traffic accidents that have been occurring on Chingola Solwezi Road in Mushindamo area, with the most recent one involving a DKV bus and an abnormal load vehicle on 24th July 2025, and what urgent measures the government is taking to prevent further road traffic accidents.
We'll be able to share with you the details of those questions, the responses that the acting leader of government business gave, and this is Honorable Ambrose Nufuma, MP. For now, we'll take a short break as well, so we'll be able to let you in on what is expected to be considered on the floor of the House just before we cross over to the chamber for the resumption of business. Keep watching Parliament Television. Thank you so much for your time.